Hey, I'm going to make a new fretboard jig here. I think I've talked in other videos about this wonderful jig I got from Stewmac a few years ago that's really just a piece of steel with little slots in it. That's all, just about all that comes in the package. That and this little teeny tiny post that I screwed into this 1x6. That little post catches the slots so you can move on down. You can rock out fretboards on a radial arm saw. It's a whole lot easier on a radial arm saw. You can do it on a table saw too. I make a fretboard now in about 2 minutes. So I can rock out a whole bunch of fretboards. You can see I've made several here. I've got a lot of guitar fretboards built up because this is 2 guitar scales, but they're about 24-inch scale, and I want to make some ukuleles. I've got a batch of ukuleles to make, so I need a new jig. Ukulele scale length. I'm going to make tenor ukuleles. I'm going to go for about a 17-inch scale length. So I've got to make myself a jig rather than go off and spend a whole bunch of money on a Stewmac special made one for a ukulele. So looking at this, I can see it's fairly easy to do. I just need to put some slots in the right place on a piece of metal. So that's what I did. Bought this little piece of strap aluminum, 2 feet long, 2-inch wide. So I'm just going to lay out where the slots are going to go onto this piece of aluminum. You can see there on the edge. So what I'm going to do is drill in with my drill press right on the edges of each one and then buff it out a little bit, so we'll have something that looks more or less like this official Stewmac one at the end on the Maduro Bob piece of aluminum. So how do you know where to put the frets? Well, that's easy. You go out to Stewmac again. Go out to Stewmac.com and look for their fret position calculator. You can tell it exactly what you want. See, I got my handy dandy calculations here. I told it I wanted to make a ukulele 17 and 3/32 inch scale length, which is 434 millimeters. If you don't enjoy torturing yourself, do this in millimeters. Don't try to do it in fractions. You'll be trying to kill somebody. So I plug those numbers into their little Java applet. It spits out the numbers. I wrote them down on this piece of paper, so you can see they're pretty precise. You start with the nut position at 0. The first fret is 24.359 millimeters from there, and then each measurement on down is the distance from the nut, all the way until you get to the bottom at fret number 22. I told it I only wanted 22 frets, and that gets me out to 312.213 millimeters from the nut. So I'm going to take this piece of paper, I'm going to use this piece of aluminum, and I'm going to mark out where the frets need to be slotted, and we'll see how this works. So the first thing I'm going to do here is use my square, mark the nut with a Sharpie. Nothing to it. And you can see I've got my handy dandy high visibility metric ruler here. I can just slide right down in here next to the square, look at the numbers, and work my way on down. So we won't see this whole thing, but I'm going to do let's see, the first fret is 24.359, so I get nice and close in there at 24.359 with this super sharp Sharpie and make the mark. I'm going to go ahead and do that all the way down to 312.213 millimeters at the 22nd fret. Get all those marked out. We'll take it over to the drill press and drill some holes. So here we are at the drill press. I got the marks laid out from my nut all the way down to my 22nd fret. I'm not sure you can see that. I can barely see it because, well, I'm going blind. Got my fence set up, so this little, what size drill bit is this? This is a 5/64. That's about the same size as the one that's in the Stewmac jig. I got it set up so that it's just riding right down in front of the fence, so I can put a piece of wood up in there. I can ride this guy up, and I can drill right at the nut, first fret, and I can move on down to the 22nd fret, and we'll have a peek at what it looks like. So let me pop this one at the nut here. I'll go a little bit slow because we're right on the edge of that aluminum there. We don't want anything to bend or break or get pushed out of the way. You know, those drill bits will wall out just a little bit. Yeah, we just got that done. Don't want it to drift any. Yeah, we're down into the wood. So you can see how that worked out. I'll take a file in there after I get all these drilled out. I'll take a little file in there and I'll smooth that out so it's a nice, easy entrance and egress for that little post we talked about earlier. And then we're gonna. All right, check it out. We're back from the drill press. I ran a file across the edges here, but you can see we got all of our slots cut in here quite nicely. I took this big old file and just kind of ground down the edges and then pulled it through a little bit at an angle with the corner just to clean up the edges so it would ride smoothly on that little post. That's all there is to it. You can see it's all nice and done. It looks a whole lot like this official nice brushed steel Stewmac one that cost a whole lot of money. Spent just a couple of dollars on this piece of aluminum, and it took maybe 5 minutes here in the shop to do this. And now you can see, I don't know if you can see that little post right there. That's the official little screw head that came with the Stewmac version. It could be a finish nail, it could be anything, as long as you size the hole that you cut into the edge here to match up with your post, so it'll slide right along in here. So here I am, there's my nut position, slide down, clicks in at the first fret, slide down, clicks in at the second fret, on down the fretboard. Nice and easy. I'll label this one 17 and what was it, 3/32 inch scale length ukulele, 434 millimeters. Now I'll have this to use forever. Like I said, it took me 5 minutes to make it, but now I can rock out fretboards one every about 90 seconds, almost a little bit less than 2 minutes. And make all the ukulele fretboards I need and store this thing off to the side and come out and make the exact same fretboards at any time. It's a very handy way to do this. You do it yourself. Oh, by the way, one other thing. You saw me using the drill press to make these holes. Last one of these I made, I didn't use a drill press. I just thought that would be kind of a handy way to do it, and it worked out nicely. But if you don't have a drill press, lots of folks don't, the way I made the other one was even easier. I did this exact same marking, but rather than come in with the drill press and drill right down through the edges, I just took a hacksaw. Very carefully carved in at each slot, and it turned out that that hacksaw kerf was pretty much exactly what I needed to hit that little Stewmac post. So again, then I just took the file and cleaned it up just a little bit, got any edges off of it, and that hacksaw method worked just fine too, just as fast, and hey, requires no power tools to make. Alright, enjoy y'all.